ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ Namaste, all of you. Welcome back to our continuing study of Shrimad Bhagawad Geetha based on the Gita home study course of Poojya Swamiji, Swami Dayananda Saraswathi. Before the vacation, we, with the blessings of the Guru Parampara, completed chapter 1 of Shrimad Bhagawad Geetha, having looked at the scenario that led or is going to lead to the great teaching to be unfolded in chapter 2 based on Arjuna's question that he puts to Lord Krishna, and Lord Krishna will become the Jagat Guru from verse 11 of chapter 2, and will give out one of the finest or the finest teaching of our Vedanta Shastra that will encompass the Veda Purva Bhaga, laying emphasis on Karma Yoga, and Veda Anta Bhaga that will teach us about Jnana Yoga. So let us now hold hands and be led into chapter 2 with the blessings of Poojya Swamiji, Swami Dayananda Saraswathi. Chapter 2, Sankhya Yoga, the topic of knowledge. Verse 1. Sanjaya speaks. Sanjaya uvacha tam tatha kripayavishtam अश्रुपूर्णाकुलेक्षणम् विषीदन्तमिदं वाक्यम् उवाच मधुसूदनः. That is verse 1. Sanjaya uvacha said, Madhusudana Krishna, tatha thus, kripaya avishtam, overwhelmed by compassion, ashrupurna akula ikshanam, whose eyes were filled with tears and showed distress, vishidantam, one who was sad, tam, to him, idam, this, Vakyam, sentence. Uvacha, spoke. Sanjaya said, to him who was thus sad and overwhelmed by compassion, whose eyes were filled with tears and showed distress, Madhusudana, Krishna, spoke these words. The use of the third person in this verse reminds us that Sanjaya, the narrator of the Gita, was continuing his report to Dhritarashtra. The dialogue between Arjuna and Krishna, on the other hand, is always in the first person and second person. As the second chapter begins, Krishna, referred to as Madhusudana, had been patiently listening to Arjuna because he knew the importance of listening. He let Arjuna talk. A therapist also listens a lot and nods his or her head at the appropriate time, speaking only enough to keep the person talking. People do not generally listen in this way. They begin advising right away and do not know how to listen. Krishna was a good listener. He had already listened to one complete chapter. Only when Arjuna laid down his bow, arrows, and sat back in the chariot did Krishna think it was time for him to respond. The word Madhu in the name Madhusudana refers to the ego. It means honey, something that is very dear, very sweet to us. The ahankara ego is very dear to us. Everyone wants to boost the ahankara. No one wants to give it up. We have already seen that Madhusudana refers to Krishna as the destroyer of demons. The ego here can be seen as a demon. Therefore, the one whose grace destroys ahankara, the one knowing whom the ahankara is destroyed, is called Madhusudana. Arjuna was described as being overwhelmed, overpowered by sympathy, compassion, and affection. His eyes were filled with tears because he had placed himself in such a situation. There was more here than mere compassion. There was conflict too because of his sense of duty. Arjuna was confused about having to destroy people who were his gurus and relatives. Because he was a man of discipline, Arjuna did not allow the tears to flow. There are three reasons why the eyes can be filled with tears. Pepper can certainly do it. When you are ecstatic, also, you may shed tears. When you are sad, the tears can well up. Any disease causing tears is usually due to an irritation and is therefore covered under the first of these three. Thus, the tear glands are stimulated by these kinds of situations. We know that Arjuna's tears were not due to ecstasy because he was described here as one who was sad. Arjuna, who was sad, whose eyes were glistening with tears, and whose heart was overwhelmed by compassion, was being addressed by Shri Bhagavan. The word Vakya usually means a sentence, a group of words. Here it refers to the whole subject matter of this particular section. Verses 2 and 3, Lord Krishna speaks to Arjuna. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Kutastva Kashmalamidam Vishame Samupasthitam Anarya Jushtamasvargyam Akirtikaram Arjuna. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Verse 2. Shri Bhagavan, the Lord, Uvacha, said. And what did he say? Arjuna, O Arjuna, Bishame, in this crisis, idam, this, anarya jushtam, that which is not becoming of an upright man, aswargyam, that which does not lead to heaven, akirtikaram, akirtikaram, that which does not add to your fame, kashmalam, despair, twa, upon you, kutaha, from where, samupasthitam, has come. Shri Bhagavan said, Arjuna, in such crisis, from where has this despair come upon you? It is unbecoming of an upright man and does not add to your fame, nor does it lead you to heaven. Hey Arjuna, where did you pick up this despair, this sorrow? Asked Krishna. Arjuna had been talking in a way That did not sound like him at all, because it was totally unexpected. Krishna's response did not take the form of helpful advice. He did not let Arjuna know that he understood his position and the difficulties he was facing. Instead, he whipped him with his tongue, saying, "Where did this despair come from, Arjuna? It does not befit you at all." We will continue in the same vein in the next capsule. Hari Om.